So hello and welcome to the Expat pod, and welcome to the shorter version of the podcast called Quickfire Questions. If you haven't already listened to the main episode with Lili, then please do go and watch it after you finish this one, of course. Lili, this is basically where I ask my guests just some very quick questions about their life abroad, just to give some, I guess, a trailer to what it's like to living abroad for someone else to enjoy and start their own journey or finish their own journey. So my first question is, what's your favorite place you've ever lived?
Cool. Well, thanks for having me again. And let's say we've talked a lot about Japan, Japan. A lot of people think of Japan and the food, which is amazing, and I love it too. But there's something like serene about just being surrounded by a lot of people because the population is large, but feeling so calm and safe. And also I love hiking, and in Japan is amazing. It's just a beautiful culture, and I met my husband there, so that would take another whole story, but I'm biased. But thank you, Japan. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Incredible. That's such a beautiful story. My next question is then, what's your favorite international food?
I'm laughing because it's connected to Japan. Surprise. There's this food in Japan that's called Nabe. It's like a hot pot, and it's just comforting. You know that mom's stew or soup? It's just like a soup, and you can mix all the vegetables or whatever you want in it. And I think it's a flour cake that's shaped like a star called chiku wabu, and I just have to have that in every time. It looks like a star, but it's just like chewy flour cake inside it. I just can't get that anywhere else, so I'm like kind of dreaming of it. But you know, the foods just make you think of memories and happy times, and sharing with people just feels good. So, Nabe.
Yeah, that is the wonder of food. It does transport you. Same with like all the senses, I suppose, but food and music.
True. And I think we all have a couple like foods that like just take us back in time to, I'm sure all foods, but.
What's your favorite international tradition?
I know I've lived in different places, but I think I'm slightly in love with Japan again. And I know that you've talked about like the Daruma festival and the wish that you do with the Daruma doll, and at the end of the year, if it comes true, you paint the eyeball, etc. But there's an extension to that. There's a festival called just like the Daruma burning ceremony or festival, and there's a really huge temple called Daruma-ji. It's for the Darumas that people stack up throughout the year when they give up on it, or at the end of the year specifically, they bring all the dolls there and they put them in massive piles and they burn it, which seems a little bit eerie, and it looks a bit eerie or strange for a first timer, but it's a purification ceremony to let go and say thank you. And this is kind of like Japanese culture, like all in one, like going through a process of unfolding and whatever comes, and allowing and letting go, and then thanking. So I just love it. And I went there one time, and it's so memorable to see it happening, and people chanting and praying, and just really cool, full circle.
No, it's amazing. I'd love to go one day, and I will be there one day, I believe. What's your favorite thing about living abroad?
Wow, hard question. I think for me, I crave change now that I've moved abroad so much. I was never a great student in school, like in high school, but when I went abroad, I felt like I could like learn so much faster because it was just more interactive. Maybe I'm kinesthetic more, and like being involved is really helpful for me. So, and I think it's just a metaphor for life as well. Like change is inevitable. Change is a constant. And so I thrive in places where there's more change. So I adapt to change a lot better. And I know that life is about change. So being abroad helps me to be constantly in that. And does that make sense? Because I love it. And a lot of people don't necessarily, but it's just an amazing experience for me. And I love to grow and learn. So like being open to the change is my favorite thing. And it helps me to see different perspectives, especially because having perspective is one of the most important things to have when you're abroad. So cheers to change.
That's a great statement. What's your best homesickness remedy?
Don't have it. No, just kidding. Impossible. First of all, everyone experiences this. Hallelujah. You're not alone. Everyone experiences it to a certain degree, and it comes up and down. And I think we're talking about the roller coaster of study abroad or living abroad that exists. And we could talk more about those stages or the themes that we all experience, but still we all experience it differently, but we all experience it. But I think the biggest important thing for me that I didn't know at the time was to not make myself feel bad about it, to feel like I'm wrong or I shouldn't feel this way, or that I'm not strong because I'm homesick, or that I'm missing family. And that's part of it. But also, I think it's important that you know yourself. And sometimes that's hard to do. Like, what do I need? I'm heightened in my emotions, so my intelligence is low. I don't even know what I need. So it's kind of like, help. But with that, it really helped me to have pictures. I mean, it's easy to have pictures of family, but also to connect as often as I can. And thankfully with the internet, that's great. And then also, if possible, having a deadline. Like if you're away from your husband or your boyfriend or your mother, like know when you're going to see them next, if possible. That is so helpful. I think we're supposed to have one answer, but there's lots of good things.
No, the more the merrier.
I just like knowing, like having a date of when you're going to do something. Maybe you can't see your family, but you have a trip coming up, or there's a game or a sporting event that you're looking forward to. Like having like milestones of things to look forward to and being active, even if you don't feel like it, like making it a way, like you don't feel good when you're homesick. So maybe you don't feel good like putting yourself out there and being uncomfortable. So you got to embrace one of the discomforts. So you might as well do something new and different. So like having something to look forward to is helpful as well.
Well, what a great answer and what a great inspiration. My next question is probably linked to this. Then what's the hardest thing about living abroad?
The first thing that comes to mind is actually jokes. This is a joke kind of, because like getting jokes is like the last level of humor. So I've struggled so much. That is kind of a joke, but like getting used to not getting things. So, which is kind of everything too, like being comfortable with the discomfort. And I could tell a little story with this because like going to doctors in different countries, and I've had a lot of experiences, it's always different. And it's like a really personal place and space to be. So realizing that it's not going to be the same as when you go at home, and it's not always comfortable at home. Imagine going to Japan, and this is maybe too much information, but they do women check where they just set a curtain, like half of you is showing and half of you isn't. And that was the weirdest experience for me. So this is way too much, but still like just getting used to like things being completely strange and different, which is what we love about it too, right? We want something different. That's why we're going abroad, unless your job took you there. But then you're still going to go. So being used to change and things not being normal and that being exciting. What are we going to discover today kind of attitude.
What's the best phrase you've learned whilst living abroad?
This year has been a trying year. So my husband and I have been singing Kisarasa all year long, like whatever shall be, shall be. I say that because it's really important to have a mantra or something to get you through difficult times. But another expression that I really love in Japan that is kind of related is Shogunai. Shogunai kind of means it can't be helped. Like Kisarasa or Seila-vi, they're all the same theme for me. So like that. Life is my husband says life's a joke, but it's like, don't take things too seriously. It is what it is. So Shogunai, Kisarasa, Seila-vi, my friend.
Now they're all incredible mantras for sure. Mine's always Carpe Diem as well, kind of to throw it in there too, like seize the day, because you don't know if it's your last, which is quite morbid, but you don't. So,
well, that's a reality too. But it's just a great reminder. And sometimes when it's morbid, it hits home. It's more emotional, so it's memorable. So I love it. Go for the morbid. More morbid.
What's the best way you've got of making new friends?
Friends. Yelling it from the rooftop. No. Well, I think the best thing is doing something you like. I've learned through making mistakes of how to do most things in life by doing it the ways that weren't connected to my intrinsic or my desires or things that I like. And I think the best way is doing something that you like, especially like people who are dating people, same idea. Why are you going and doing things? You're forcing yourself to do something you don't like to meet a person, but what if you just do the thing that you enjoy? And then you'll connect with people that have that same interest. So I've found doing things that I enjoy, that I'm having fun anyway, and then life just brings me these friends in a natural, organic way. So have fun. And you'll be surprised what could happen.
No, that's really, really great advice for even like wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
what's the best thing to do in your new hometown? Obviously, Livia is beautiful.
It's so cute. I go around singing Disney songs like "Such a Quiet Village" every day. No, just joking. But actually, I do have that song in my head because if you look up Annecy, it's a really cute little village, and it's in the nature. So I try to explore, and I recommend doing this if you live in a cute town or wherever you are, just exploring in different ways. Take a new road home. Like, I think, like, get low, get high, see things from a different perspective, because I'm surprised, like, the different things I see, even coming down the same road every day. But try a different way.
And then my last question is, what's your best expat life hack?
This one's really hard because it's very personal, right? I mean, everyone's different, and that's important to remember that what works for other people might not. So not comparing that something's not working for you is very helpful, first of all. But second, also is kind of embrace or look for beauty in what I don't want to say is chaos, because some things can feel chaotic because it's different and new in the different culture. Embrace the new thing that's happening and try to find the perspective where you understand like who you are within that and the ever-evolving understanding of the culture that you're running into. So just like try to be patient with the things that are hard, right? And embracing that chaos in that way. And we talked before on the longer version about like recording, like you did a blog that you should share with people about like a beautiful way to express yourself, like what's happening, like to get perspective from like the struggle, because there will be struggle. And this doesn't go for expats. This is for every human. Like life has struggle, but I believe there's strength in all of that. And it's a beautiful thing to remember as an expat, like, what is this cultural thing I'm experiencing? And like, and then coming back to when in Rome, what is really happening? And writing down like, what is the struggle and how can I find strength in that is so powerful just as a human. And it will really help as an expat to live your best life. And I think like looking back at the person that you've become, like I could talk about like my husband and I, this journey, moving to France together, him as a Japanese and me as an American. And I have lived in France before, but to get the perspective from him and then how I'm dealing, I speak French, he doesn't. So many dynamics that we get to come together and say like, this is what French culture means to us from our lens of the world, from our culture, and then come together. It's so fun and bonding and interesting to analyze it in a way that's loving and compassionate so that you understand and that you could show up in the world and be happy where you are at abroad.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, really. It is very much a tailored experience for everyone. It's not a off-the-rack kind of situation, for lack of a better expression. No, thank you for your time and thank you for your answers. They've all been very insightful and very valuable, I'm sure, to anyone listening. And I hope people do go and listen to the main podcast now if they haven't already. It's amazing, and Lili shares wonderful stories and her amazing work as well. So hopefully we'll see you next time for the Expat Pod.